Continuing on with Project 7, Stage 1, next we're going to create a bar graph. So again, you're going to go into File, you're going to open up another copy of the Billboard template, and again zoom into it, and this time you're going to choose the bar graph tool from the Tools panel. Click and drag again inside the sign area on the billboard artwork, leaving again about 1/4 inch all the way around. Again, you're going to click the Import Data button on the Data panel, and this time you're going to select the spending text. Notice this time around we have text that's running in the first column that's going to give us our data, and we have values in the average column. Apply these, and then we can close the data panel. Your graph object should still be selected, and change your type to an 8-point font again. I'm going to stay with my Myriad Pro, and nudge the graphed object as necessary until it fits as best as it can inside our sign area. Pick up your selection tool and Control right-click on your graph. You're going to choose Type in the contextual menu. Again, choose Value Access in the graph options. Click the Override Calculated Values box. You're going to type 25 in the minimum field and 125 in the maximum, and 4 divisions. Choose None for the tick mark's length. By default, categories are separated by tick marks. In this case, for the bar graph, we don't need tick marks. And you can say OK to close the dialog box. We want to save this as spending graph, and then we're going to continue by editing our data. As long as you maintain a graph object without ungrouping it, you can edit both the parameters and the data that make up the graph. Any change in the data is automatically reflected in the graph object on the artboard. Select the graph object with the selection tool. It should still be selected, and again, Control and right-click on the graph and pick Data. In the cell below Diesel, click and then type in Flex Fuel. Hit Tab to go to the next field and type in 79 and click the Apply button. It adds another row with Flex Fuel. The height of the existing bars changes to accommodate that new category. You can now close your data panel again. Using the Direct Selection tool, click away from the graph object to deselect it, and then Shift-click to select the 5 bars. In the Gradient panel, you're going to change the bar's fill to the green gradient swatch. Make sure you grab the fill and pick up the green gradient, and you can rotate the gradient until you're satisfied with the appearance of the graph. Select whichever rotation that you prefer. Using your Direct Selection tool, you can click and drag to select the category labeled Type Objects. Change those objects to a left-aligned paragraph and change the font to a 10-point and make it bold. Then you can continue to either drag, or you can use your arrow keys and move those categories over the top of the bars. With your Direct Selection tool, pick up the Legend Type object and drag it onto the board where you can see it. You want to change it to a 12-point typeface and also to a bold. And to pick up your type tool, click after monthly and use your shift return to put in a line break and then choose a right paragraph alignment. Use your direct selection tool again to drag that back to the right hand upper corner of your graph. Again, select only the legend icon and drag that off to the side of the artboard. You can then save this file and close it. Our third graph is going to be a pie chart. It's based on data from a random survey from people who were asked, how many vehicles does your household own? Since each person gave a single response, the combined percentage equals 100%, and a pie chart is the best way to show values as percentages of a whole. You are again going to open up your billboard template, center it. This time we are going to select the pie graph tool and again click and drag to create a marquee inside the billboards. This time in the data panel we're going to import ownership. We can apply and close the data panel. Pick up your selection tool in the Tools panel and again you're going to control right click and choose Type. We have different options again because now we have the pie chart. In the legend options we want to choose Legends in Wedges and then say OK. With the graph selected, change the text formatting to a 9-point typeface and click away from the object to deselect it. Use your direct selection tool to move the text for own 3 or more cars and don't own a car out of the wedges. Now save your file as ownership graph. Using your direct selection tool, click off to the side and then click to select the Own One Car wedge. In the control panel, open the Fill panel and choose the green radial swatch. In the Tools panel, choose your Gradient tool, click from the center of the graph and drag out. Repeat this for each wedge of the graph. Using your direct selection tool, click on the Own One Car wedge and shift-click the wedge legend to add it to the selection. Drag those two away from the other wedges out of the graph, just to make a small separation. And then repeat this to move all of the wedges out a little bit from each other. You can go back in and reposition them if you would like. Now click your graph with the selection tool to select the entire object and drag it to the right side of the sign area. You're going to click off to the side and then place the caption document, preserving the text formatting. Position and resize it, and change the text to the same text that you're using for the rest of your graphics. You can then save your file and close it.